Marielle and Shay with Talking Unfiltered.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking Unfiltered with me, Shay.
And with me, Marielle. And if you're new here, this is our podcast all about life in Israel and life in general from me with the perspective of an Ola.
And me as a born and raised Israeli. And today we actually also have, we have Hannah today.
Yay.
We have a third person with us, which is so exciting.
נכון.
Unfiltered.
Wow, mamash.
Today's going to be really... Oh, I can ask you guys.
Yeah.
Is there any words you don't want me to
You
say?
can say what,
say everything.
Yeah?
Can, mamash.
Orgasm?
You can talk about, seriously, I think
I never
we
know
should,
what I can say
I get it.
where, but I mean...
This is
the
Unfiltered,
work. I
so...
don't know. Yeah, I should be able to say it. I don't
We
know.
get
Yeah.
hate for it, we get love for it, but like that's our whole point, that we
Nice.
just say things
Exactly.
as we are.
We want people to understand fully from an unfiltered perspective.
Unfiltered.
And so, or we're starting off strong.
I know. It's 9 a.m. Orgasm.
What a way to start the morning.
Ken, just
you know
for
what I
context,
mean?
it's literally 9 a.m.
Woke me
right
up,
now.
Yeah.
But you have the Kosher Sex page. Maybe tell us who
Yes.
you are and then we'll like dive more into
Yeah.
it. I also have so many
Yeah.
questions to ask you. And
Okay, so my name is Hannah Boteach. I run Kosher Sex, which is mainly based online in the States, but I opened a shop in Tel Aviv. It was in Jerusalem now for like 7 years, and now I just moved it back to Tel Aviv. And it is all based on the book that my dad wrote, Rabbi Shmuley, and he wrote this book called Kosher Sex like almost 30 years ago now. What is it? Yeah, almost 30 years.
Wow.
Oh my God. That's
Crazy.
So, yeah, I took all the ideas of his book, which is a very Jewish perspective on sexuality, intimacy, marriage, relationships, and made it into a company.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just so cool. And
That's
I don't
the
know
gist of
if
it.
you heard about her dad before.
I didn't.
'Cause, yeah, he's like a really big rabbi.
So,
yeah.
he's,
But for Israelis, I feel like we don't know rabbis.
Yeah.
So he's, I mean, he's a rabbi. He's a writer. He's an author. He does like a lot of Israel. I mean, that's part of the story of why.
Right.
So he wrote a lot of books about relationships.
Okay.
He was the rabbi at Oxford University in England.
Oh, wow.
And then he wrote Kosher Sex there. And then he wrote a bunch of like follow-up books, like getting more deep into the erotic secrets of Judaism. And then he like kind of went into doing more Israel. I hate the word hasbara. I don't know why
too.
I hate saying
We
that.
do-
It's so
yeah,
like
we
I
do
don't
too.
like that. It's also so not like, what am I explaining?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Why are we
Right.
explaining anything? It's so defensive and
Okay.
lame.
Right.
So,
Anyway, so that's what he's
Israel,
doing.
Yeah, so anyway, he does his bra. And
That's what people ask us about this podcast. They'll be like, oh, it's like Hasbara. And then I'm like, I guess if you're saying
I
orgasm
mean-
at 9 a.m., it can be a Hasbara.
כאילו, that's the real hasbara, you know, to get people to the human level of who Israelis are and what Judaism
Yes.
is.
Okay,
Like, that's
that
the
makes
real
sense,
thing.
yeah.
And not like numbers from like 1973. כאילו, that nobody
yeah.
cares.
Right.
yeah, also, yeah. nobody cares. And now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Oh, sorry. So he wrote the book at university.
Oh, right. So I mean, also for 30 years, he's been
Right.
doing Israel. We have to come up with a better
Yeah.
word. Israel I don't know.
Ad-
Yeah, that's also
advocacy,
defensive. And
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's as bad as
Working
hasbara.
in the field of, I
he's
don't
a
know. it's-
truth teller. We'll
Yes.
say that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he ventured more into that. And I was like, there's still, this is part of the problem of, I think, anti-Semitism and the war and everything that's going on is that all of the things that Jews are supposed to do, like we were given this, wow, this is getting really, I'm really getting into it. Okay.
No, please.
Yes.
That's what we want.
So our job as Jews is to be a light unto the nations, which is so misconstrued and they love to twist that. But in the meantime, while we're fighting for survival and existence, it's like we don't get the chance to take the ideas that we were given and to spread them to the world. So, we're always on the defensive and we're fighting for our lives. Then the living of Judaism gets put to the side. And I kind of felt like that's what happened also with Kosher Sex and everything like
Right.
that. Like my dad had to do stuff for Israel. And I was like, well, people are still suffering and everyone's miserable and no one's having sex and everyone's getting divorced. And so we got to take this further. And he was like, you know what? Go for it. And so I was like,
wow.
yeah.
But how did it? Your dad wrote this book then. You have this store for how long? Not the
Yeah, so, like,
physical one, like
7
in general.
Yeah, so 2019, so that is 7 years.
How old are you?
35.
What did you do before?
So I moved here when I was 19, and then I was in university for like 10 years. I don't know how. Then
What were you
I did
studying?
the Army. I was studying government.
Wow.
And then as soon as I studied it, I was like, this is not for me. So no way. So I went from political, the world of politics, to
Right.
the world of sexual politics.
Wow.
I love this.
Yeah. So yeah, that feels more fitting to me. But yeah, I mean, I grew up with this. Like, my dad wrote the book when I was 9, and it was a big book. It was an international bestseller. And so I grew up with him being the kosher sex rabbi, which is like, so, you know.
Was
there
it
a bit of
always
exposure.
controversial to have like a rabbi who's also talk about sex?
Yes, when he wrote the book, it was like a scandal. You
Wow.
know?
Where people, yeah, because I guess
Like, how can a rabbi talk about sex?
I feel like it's something now that like maybe people would be a little bit more open to, but yeah, I can't
think
imagine
so.
in the, you know.
I still think that most religious people would be like, maybe
Right.
I'm wrong, but like as an Israeli, like the religious people here, I think are different from most
Very
Jewish
true.
people.
Very true, yeah.
Most religious people in America.
Yeah. No, so when he wrote it in Oxford, yeah, it was very controversial. And the interesting thing is everyone was like, what can a rabbi teach about sex? And I'm like, open a Talmud. They're talking about it everywhere. This is the most natural thing in Judaism. Sex is not taboo. It's not stigmatized. And I think that's also part of why I got so interested in it and why I want to spread this message is because, like I said, we're supposed to be a light to the nations. And this is wisdom that we have that can be extremely healing, and it's not just for Jews.
Right.
It's like it was the Jews who actually went crazy at my dad and were like, you can't talk about, you know?
Yeah.
And it was the non-Jews who were like searching and like, oh, what can we learn from this? Because people are sex is one of those topics that it's just, it's the blind leading the blind. Like,
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah, especially, I mean, are we the same generation? I don't know. I think,
It's
are you guys?
27,
Yeah.
27.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Millennial?
we're in between
like,
Gen
yeah,
Z.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we teeter-totter on it.
No, but we're all in
Yeah.
it. You know, these
No
generations
matter what,
are,
yeah, 100%. And it's something that we think that you can bring such a unique perspective about from the general level, but also we're talking about a lot of people who are like young girls coming to Israel for the first time. Like
Right.
they're doing, experiencing adulthood here, and they're tackling all these difficult topics, their own identity, Judaism, sex. They're here for the first time. They don't know what they're doing either. So it's like, it's really interesting just to hear about in general.
Yeah. And I think that sex is one of those topics that you're just thrown into.
Yeah.
What do you get? Like a 5-minute 7th grade sex
Right.
ed of like, I don't know, abstinence,
Like pregnancy,
safe sex.
STDs.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then what about everything else? And there's just no guidance, no
Right.
nothing. Everyone's thrown in.
And you know, sorry.
Yeah, no. Oh my God. go.
I'll add
Yeah.
my Israeli perspective to it. That we've talked about it before, but I feel like as an Israeli, I didn't get sex educated at all. Like maybe it's because Israel is more of a religious country on its
Traditional
base.
and yeah.
We don't. I always say that Americans are open, are super on one side of the spectrum with being sex positive, but Israel is kind of on the other side. Obviously, it depends where you grew up in.
Right.
Like Tel Aviv children, it's different than I guess.
Oh, yeah.
the
Tel Aviv.
periphery.
Yeah, its own beast.
And I think that one of the reasons why we don't get sex educated is because we're a religion-based country. So even if you're not religious, the country is kind of traditional.
Yes. Yeah. And surprisingly, I'll tell you, like, even
Yeah.
like in the shop, I've noticed that even everyone's like, oh, the religious are so suppressed. And I'm like, chilonim and really secular people come in also, and they're also really nervous and embarrassed. And
Yes.
there's issues in every community. But sex ed across the board in the entire world is just so subpar and lacking.
Right.
And then we wonder why people are really struggling when it comes to sex and how it bleeds into every other part of their life. It's not just going to be secluded, isolated just to their sex life.
Right.
It's going to affect their entire life. And I think my dad says this because I know he says this in Kosher Sex, but maybe he took it from someone else. But he says, if it's not working in the bedroom, it ain't working in the living room. Like this part of your life it's all intertwined. The mental, the emotional,
Right. Like they all kind of work together.
Yeah.
Right. They're not
And it's
separate
even
things.
not just in Judaism, like even when you talk about chakras, so the sex chakra is also what opens your creativity and your openness to the world. So I think it's not just religions that made it. I lost my
train of thought.
my train of thought. You saw me losing the connection. But what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, I feel like we've been educated to kind of feel uncomfortable around a topic that should be so part of our basic needs, if that makes sense to say.
Yes, for sure.
Ken.
No, you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like we're all here because, not to,
No,
not to
please.
get-
No, go.
I have to, because
We're absolutely all here because
we
of
all
that.
exist because of sex.
Yeah.
Like this is
Ken.
creation,
We always-
and we won't talk about it. It's so insane to me.
I know we always say like, wait, the earth is women and her children. Like that is
Right.
the earth. And it's
Yes.
just a product of, all that. And that was something that was so interesting when we met that I remember you talking about was like the role that women have in this. Cause I feel like as a society, we kind of have made like, oh, this is like a male dominated thing. Like when
Yes.
we're talking about sex and marriage and everything, it's like something that the man is supposed to lead in. And you were kind of saying, no, it's not supposed to be that way. Like in terms of like women's empowerment and how they feel, stepping into themselves and all of that, which I think
It's also I feel like it's more mainstream to talk about it. I mean, now it changes, but men pleasure is more taking into thought
Researched.
than
for sure.
women's.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they just. I feel like I'm bouncing all over the place.
No.
'Cause I get, they just did the first 3D. What's it called? 3D imagery of the full body of the clitoris. It's 2026. I mean, this was done
Wow.
years ago about the penis, and female pleasure is actually paramount in Judaism. It's like central to sexuality in Judaism. And it's just been pushed aside. And in Judaism, like I was telling you, Marielle, like it is so female centric and pleasure focused, which I haven't seen anywhere else in any other religion. Even in, it's getting better,
Right.
Like they just did this research, so there's like some progress, but
Making progress.
we're super behind. And I think that Judaism, especially the stuff that I find when I research, and I could talk about this stuff, and this is like, I'm obsessed. So I just like search for things like
I love this.
in Judaism,
too.
in the Talmud, in the Torah, in the Shulchan Aruch, like, and there's just stuff about sexuality everywhere, wisdom about intimacy, and there's like these little secrets. And I think that, like I
can
said,
you share one?
yeah,
Can you
they're-
share a
I'm telling you,
secret?
they blow your mind. But when people say to me, like, your dad talking about sex, you talking about sex, you're a rabbi's daughter, you're religious, and I'm like, this is open a Talmud. Then like, what are you talking about? Yeah, but it's interesting work. That's for sure.
I'm sure.
Did you grow up
Yeah.
in a religious household, right?
Yeah. So my dad he's a rabbi.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
But you grew up this
his own
way. Like
thing.
it's not something that your life evolved this way. Like your dad was
Yeah.
okay. And were you always your host? נחתוך את החלק הזה.
Yeah.
I always
get you. No,
I
you're
always say I don't know how to speak English past 7 p.m. But then also not before 10
This
a.m.
is my bad. It was the 90. I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm
And
kind
today
of
was
down
like,
for the craziness of it.
I know.
all,
I
if I'm
actually
not gonna
really
lie.
like I'm tripping. I'm so
But I was gonna ask if your family was always sex positive and like open about it, even though you guys are religious.
Because you have a lot of siblings as well.
Yeah,
Right.
we're 9. So, okay, so listen, I still never talked to like my parents about, it's not like we're not getting weird and talking about like,
Yeah.
but the ideas of sexuality and intimacy and what it was supposed to be and the Jewish aspect of it for sure was very spoken about. But also like that's how people knew my dad in the beginning. That's how
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
I was
they
like,
have
we
a
have some
dog in
dogs with
here.
us.
Yeah. So, but listen, it's not just the home you grow up in. And I did grow up, thank God, in a home that was like liberal and open, even though we were religious and you know, but I think you're also raised by society, by
Absolutely.
everything around you. And
Wow. Yeah.
you get all of these like misconceptions about sexuality and intimacy, even just from the world, from this.
What's like the first one that you would debunk? Like somebody's like coming into the store for the first time, they have these preconceived notions. What's like one of the first things you would tell someone to kind of help them understand like where you're coming from?
For sure, first is that sex in Judaism is to have kids. Not true. I mean, it's a part of it, obviously, you know. But
It's a mitzvah.
yeah. But that's actually only for men. Women are not commanded to either get married or have children.
Oh, wow.
Which people don't know.
didn't know that.
But I would say that you know, the secular culture is about sex being for fun now and for exploration and there's times for everything. We'll get into that. But and then in religion, specifically Judaism, people think it's just to have kids. And the truth is that in Judaism, sex is for intimacy and it's for connection and it's for pleasure and it's the highest form and the holiest form of connection between two people. Wow. And that's why ultimately it can create.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the godliest thing there is. Only God can create life.
Wow.
And human beings through sex.
I never thought of it like that. That's why like women are also considered so holy, is because they like can hold life in them, and that creating life is like one of the holiest things you could do. Wow.
Yeah. And when people say to me like that, I get, you know, these nasty, gross comments that like I'm a pervert and what I'm doing it. And I'm like, this in Judaism, this is the holiest possible, like, how could something that is our very existence, our continuation, creation,
right?
How could it be disgusting or perverse? I mean, it could be,
right,
if you take it and you make it that way,
yes.
which, you know,
which
has definitely been done in our culture. But another aspect, like a very spiritual aspect of Judaism, is that when there's a concept that is 9 a.m. and I
don't even know.
I'm like, join me. Let's get.
I love it.
So anything that has like the highest potential for holiness can also be the most degraded. So it goes both ways. So the highest potential for holiness can also be the highest potential for degradation and for it to be abused, which we see in sex, that it can either be the most beautiful, connecting, powerful, healing force, or it can be the most abusive, traumatic,
absolutely,
just
nasty.
Wow.
You know, we thought of actually, I told Marielle this yesterday, we should start with the game. I wanted to do like 60 seconds of rapid fire that I'm asking you questions and then you say yes or no. But now I'm looking at his questions and I would actually love to hear the detailed answers for it. Like, I wouldn't want to waste it on a yes or no. Okay. But I told you this on the elevator when we came up here, but I stalked your page yesterday. First of all, a lot of amazing content. For anyone who doesn't follow, you guys should. Like, I had so many questions coming up my head, and now I also get the ability to physically asking you these questions and not just like wondering if someone is stalking you. But you were saying about how female are not commanded to get married and have kids and this and that. So I saw on your account that you were talking about how most of your products are for women. And so I wanted to ask you about this. Like, how does the Torah or the Judaism or whichever supposed to use in looking at women versus men, sexuality, masturbation, everything around that? Yeah.
Such an interesting topic. So our, you know, I took the name of the book of the shop from the book, but also I make sure that it's aligned with, like, all the products are paired with the message, but they're all aligned with the message, meaning that they're all kosher. Mm-hmm. So they're all according to Jewish law. They're permissible. So most of the we're a little bit more geared towards couples and women. So I do have products for men, but they're more to be used together in a couple. But yes, male masturbation is a whole thing in Judaism. It's actually way deeper than anyone thinks, that it's just like you're wasting your seed. You know, and actually the world is catching on about like life force, and you know, there's like no masturbation, whatever month it is, May.
Oh yeah, where they all like
Yeah.
man together.
What? I did not
and-
hear.
Yeah.
Is it May? I'm assuming it's May because I know it's like
I
MAM
think
or
so. I
something.
don't
Is it based on religion reasons? To
You
not
know,
masturbate?
Don't ask me
No.
that because I think everyone steals everything from Judaism.
Wait,
so
Wait,
everything
I'm the
is-
first advocate to say that. Like, anytime my friends are talking about astrology, I'm like, you're just Jewish. Like,
Yeah,
it's fine.
sorry.
Like, you're just Jewish.
Everyone ripped off of everything
I
from
know.
us. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But I think that everything
Even
that
no
comes,
masturbation may. Yeah.
But I don't know. I would say that maybe I'm wrong because also for context, I'm not the most religious person you'll meet. Like I'm kind of secular.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
But
anti
she's
religion.
and she's
sure,
so
I get-
woo woo
yeah.
in the best way possible, spiritual.
Oh, that's a cool
and-
combination.
But
Like,
that's-
half like,
Yeah,
this
like
is
that.
bullshit. I'm like, oh, yeah.
But I was gonna say that I feel like at the end of the day, all the spiritual aspects. I don't know about religion, but I feel like at the end of the day, everything's saying kind of the same thing. Like as you were saying about how sex is important, and I said, yeah. Also, when you talk about chakras, then the sex chakra is mentioned in the exact same way, and that's not from Judaism. You know what I mean? So when it comes to other topics too, or so that's the you think that it's inspired by Judaism, and I just think that everything is all lead to the same point. Maybe it's inspired by each other.
Yeah.
But maybe just all saying the same thing about like being a good person, being sex positive.
Well said. There
being-
is really just like one truth out there.
Right.
When it comes to, you know, there's so much gray in this. This world is just.
Can.
I was about to say
Crazy.
the F word. I
Please,
how
you
else,
can.
I
Wait,
say
of
how
course.
else do you describe this world except for just so fucked? But I just, yeah, what? Wait. Oh yeah. So yeah, there is like one
Yes.
truth. I do believe that Judaism is a very, you know, to me, I'm like really into my Judaism, and not just because like,
But when you say there's one truth, you talk about Judaism.
to me, yes, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I do believe that Judaism, you know, every religion there's truth to it and there's beauty in it for sure. But I do think that the truths that Judaism tries to bring out with its rules, with its commandments, is going to lead you to one truth in life, which is that, like, to me, the main truth in Judaism is that our existence here is to elevate the world and to heal it, and I think that that's across the board what religion is basically trying to do when it's not distorted and made really like taken so far from its
Right. Like interpreted in such
yes,
a direction.
exactly, like taken by
Right.
human beings and totally distorted.
Right.
But
But then someone who's Christian can say the same thing about their religion.
right, but
Nachon. And
Yeah,
that's their
and
truth.
I-
Can you know, I see it in a way as like I feel like there's many truths. At the end of the day, it all have the same bottom line of to be a good person,
Yeah.
to take care of your own health, to make a family. I don't know.
yeah,
I always say that, like, to me, it's no surprise. Like, I always argue that there's a really good reason that there's so many different perspectives, like spirituality, universe, different religions. Because I'm like, the big guy knew we weren't all going to agree.
Nachon.
Like,
Yeah.
he's smarter than that.
and he
you know
made
what I
it,
mean?
He made it like this,
And it's also
yeah.
diversity is important.
Exactly.
No,
so
it's,
it's like,
the most beautiful thing in the world. Of course.
Yes.
it had to be that way.
Yes,
Like, we
yes.
have to all have different opinions because otherwise it would be so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of see that Judaism is a religion that a lot of ideas spread from.
For sure.
Christianity. Like a lot of the ideas that we gave the world were adopted. And I mean, I would say that I don't appreciate okay, I'm getting into like politics now. I don't know.
We always
Yeah,
do
this
that.
If you want, you
How do
can
you
also, Shy likes to add the word allegedly sometimes so we don't get like sued for defamation.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's like something extremely heinous, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but also when it comes to politics, I think
Yeah.
everyone who's in the politics field should consider that people gonna talk shit about them.
Yeah.
And, like, have
Sorry, and
criticism
like
about
everyone's
them.
coming after us right now. Like, no.
It's
I'm
over,
not,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But no, are you kidding? Christians, like Buddhism, Islam, whatever religion there is, everything. This is what makes, there's so much beauty in this world. There really is. But Okay, I'm just gonna let's get back to sex because
So male masturbation is
yes. Oh yeah, back to masturbation. How do we get off topic? That's so interesting. No, I just think that Judaism gave the world a lot of these truths, and it has to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
You don't just get to like.
There's so much fun. Like, even when you look at like anti-defamation laws in Israel, like they come from Lashon Hara, and like how like deep it was, and what like it was. At the end of the day, it was the first religion, and there's so many things that we talked about, like the 7-day week, and how like there's no scientific explanation for the 7-day week. It's just from the Torah. Like there's so many random things that like are just inherently foundational in society that we get, like the 10 Commandments, blueprint, whatever. It's like, it's safe to say like, okay, we took ideas from it, you know? So
God itself, monotheism.
Right.
not to get off topic, but it's actually one of the criticism a lot of Israelis have about Israel, that our law is based on
religion
and not about scientific, I don't know, things.
Right.
So that's a whole different topic, but that's
That
an
is a whole
interesting
different
point.
next time.
So is masturbation allowed or not allowed?
Okay, so for males, it is not allowed. And the thing I also love about Judaism is that Judaism is very understanding of human nature. And people think that, like, if you sin, that you're distancing yourself from God. That is not the case. That, you know, you do your best in this world because we're human beings. And I think God is actually much more loving and forgiving of our nature as human beings. But yes, so masturbation is prohibited, but it's also a very spiritual aspect. There's an emission, you know, there's a seminal emission. So there's women don't have an expulsion, so that's also a little bit to do with it. But there is considered like life force in the semen, and even like I said, in the secular world, they're catching on to this, that like female sexuality, male sexuality is very. We always knew that it was very different, but not because. It was always like the difference is that men are so sexual and women are not. They just want emotion. Like that's not the difference. There's many other differences, but when it comes to masturbation, there is no explicit prohibition like there is in the Torah. Even the story of male masturbation, of where we all go back to. Are you familiar at all with, the biblical story?
No, what's the story?
So basically, it's the first mention of wasting seed. That's what everyone thinks masturbation is about, wasting seed. And it goes back to the story of Judah, who had 3 sons. And basically his sons were, everyone thinks his 3 sons. The first one got married. Then he wasted his seed. So we just assume that means masturbation because that's the association we make. But really, it is really kind of said that it was the pulling out method.
The what?
The pull-out method.
Pulling out. It's when they don't want to finish inside the vagina, so they like to. It's a
okay.
So the pregnancy doesn't happen. How do you say that in Hebrew?
The pull-out method.
No, I completely understand, but I thought
Teach me a bit for that.
Because
No, there is. I just.
People would just say ligmor bachutz because to not come inside.
Yeah. So he was gomer bachutz, and because that his intention was that he didn't want to have children because he didn't want to. Some sages say he didn't want to ruin her body or whatever it was. So God killed him. Way harsh. He killed him. So, but this is biblical times.
When we had death by stoning.
Yes.
It
was really. Also, godliness was much more apparent.
Right.
Life was not as. And then in Judaism, when a husband dies, you take the brother. There's this whole thing. So she marries the brother. He did the same thing. He was also killed.
Wow. Okay.
And then Judah did not want to give his 3rd son to, her name was Tamar. And she, are you going to cut this all out?
No.
Yes.
Wow. No, this is the good.
It's like the Bible story.
No, this is the good stuff. The Bible with sex.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we're here for.
It's my favorite. So then this is the whole story where Tamar dresses up like a prostitute. There's like such incredible stuff in Judaism. Like we don't shy away from the dirty, you know? But anyway, so basically they were pulling out with the intention to not get her pregnant.
Got it.
So they were punished. And that's where we derive all of this wasting seed stuff. Masturbation is also included in that. But like I said, this was a really long-winded answer of saying that women, there's no explicit prohibition. There's rabbis that talk about it, and there's always like different opposing.
2 rabbis, 3 opinions.
Yeah, exactly. But in my work, I do feel like, again, women and men experience sexuality very differently. They approach it very differently. And I think that for women, masturbation is a very different experience. And it can actually be really helpful to learn about the body, because so many women struggle with experiencing pleasure during sex, orgasming during sex, all of these things. And masturbation can be hugely helpful when it comes to that. So there, like, I do get a lot of women.
Right.
It can even be very therapeutic. So I do carry your question from 20 minutes ago. Yes. So I
love the
products
answer.
for women, and I don't have anything masturbatory for men.
But then it leads me to a different question.
Yeah.
The reason why is because female masturbation is kosher and male masturbation is not, right?
Right.
But you also said that you have a lot of gay couples coming in, and gays is also something that talking about the Bible, it's not really kosher.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So again, first of all, I don't judge who comes in my shop. And to me, anyone who is, I wouldn't just say that we're like we're for hetero couples. I would say we're for couples. And anyone who wants to enhance and deepen their connection and their sexual connection especially is welcome. And that's God's thing. I don't understand it. I don't think it's fair. There's a lot of things in Judaism that I struggle with, for sure. It's not like it's, God doesn't want us to also follow him blindly. Judaism is about struggle, and I don't understand that struggle or why God would create someone gay and then, so that's up to God, but everyone is welcome. And whoever's bringing more love into the world is that's kosher to me. But also again, that ties into masturbation a little bit, because also an element of the wasting seed is that intimacy in itself and deepening connection and connecting with someone on that carnal level is an end in itself. So it's not like the seed is going to waste.
Like there's a difference between like a man on his own versus like men together trying to be one flesh.
So like according to Jewish law, homosexuality, like it's actually sex. So it doesn't say you can't be gay. It says you can't lie with a man the way a man lies with a woman. But again, this is stuff that I don't
what does that
understand. So it's saying that 2 men may not lie together and like I guess have sex the way that a man will lie with a woman. But that he'll have sex with a woman.
So how?
So it doesn't say you can't be gay because like God creates people that way.
But then it does mean that you can be gay, but you can have sex with the same sex.
Right. So that's
as
the
you.
really unfair part. Like, what do you like?
It's like you just have your desires,
and to be alone.
You can have all those desires alone.
Yeah, it's like that's.
But then you also can't have them alone because you can't masturbate as a man.
It's like
honestly, finally, men are getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah. You know what? But for once,
come on,
they can
give us
take
something.
it. Yeah, really. But no, because also, it specifically talks about men. It also again doesn't mention women, and that might have to do with the penetrative aspect or the expulsion aspect. But this is all very deep stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be taken at face value where like, to not let, back in the day when they wouldn't give gay Jews an aliyah at shul, or they wouldn't, they were shunned from society. Like, no, that's not the approach I was raised with. And my dad, even being a rabbi, was always very loving towards the gay community and accepting.
Because he does couples counseling. He was saying in his book, right, that he does counseling also for same-sex couples. Yeah.
Again, so like our job in this world is to be, like you said, it all just comes down to being loving and kind, and we have responsibilities to our fellow man.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're supposed to play God in that sense of like,
Can.
there's religious sin between you and God, and then there's like that's a religious sin. That's not that's how I was raised to understand this. It's not a sin where there's an injured third party and there's any moral
Yeah.
hurt.
What my rabbi was just saying about we were learning about like the different types of mitzvahs, and he had said like if you, let's say you have to choose between a mitzvah between like man to man or man to God, like there's different mitzvahs that you do like that are just between you and the big guy, and then there's stuff with other people. They said like you choose between other people because if you're kind to another person, it's like good to God, like by showing kindness to other people.
Beautiful.
Like when it's just between you and God, you don't really know. But like basically the whole idea, be a good person to other people was like the main takeaway. I was like, oh, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And we have God, every human being has God within them.
Right.
So you're basically,
Yeah.
you're doing both at once. Yeah.
Wow. And I have to know more on like the women's empowerment side. Like what's like one of the main things that you wish you could like tell people that are either like thinking about coming into your store or something that you wish like just baseline more women knew or understood that might make them feel more comfortable in this whole realm?
Yes. So like especially when I see people very hesitant sometimes when they're about to come in. But I just try to explain to them that this is the most natural thing in the world, in Judaism especially. No stigma, no taboo. There is like some reverence around it. It has to be talked about and treated with respect. But I have like my whole, like I make a few jokes with them and I laugh with them, try to calm them down. Because it can be like a very intimidating experience to talk about, to something that you never talk about and never really share. And then it's a very vulnerable space actually.
Yeah.
And that's why I even try to design the shop in a way that makes people feel comfortable, because part of the problem is the way sex shops look. Like sex and porn these days is like, they've become one thing. Like sex is porn.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's not.
Right.
Like,
like your shop, it almost feels like walking into like a crystal shop kind of like, where it's like a little bit more like calming and wooden and, you know, like beautiful.
Like, why does sex shops, I've seen and heard it all, but even when I go in, I'm like, why? Like, why does there have to be tits everywhere and like huge, to each their own.
Yeah.
But I think that the sex industry was also very dominated by men.
Yes, that's for sure.
Everything about sex was dominated by men. So they made it into like their approach of sex. And like I was saying when you came in, Marielle, that in Judaism, women are actually supposed to take the reins on sexuality and teach men about how to experience sex, how to approach it, all that.
You think porn can be kosher?
No. That's a no.
It's one of my questions.
For so many reasons. Not just because like the obvious reasons where, it's porn is also such an interesting topic because actually porn comes very naturally to people. That's why people love it. It's extremely addicting. The dopamine is like, it can be, it's an addiction. It can be an addiction. And it's something that I think has really, really destroyed sex in our time, especially
because you were saying
for men.
People aren't having sex. That's like one of your big things.
They're not.
Yeah.
I mean, the sex they're having is like porn.
Yeah,
that's their sex. That's a lot of people's sex life.
Yeah.
Where it's not interactive at all. It's solo. But like the porn world is so ugly. Like now what's coming out about it. There's so much abuse and there's non-consensual. People are uploading. It's all really. It's a dark, dark world. But even like then someone will say like, what about ethical porn, where it's made with consent and
there's also like
respected.
porn for women that is
porn
more
for women. But still, it's not just about, Judaism tells you to guard your eyes. And it's not, again, everything is so much deeper than people think it is. It's not just like restricting you and trying to take everything fun out of life. It's trying to gear your brain and the way you live your life towards true contentment and happiness and what actually serves you rather than distracts you or helps you escape. So porn, I would say, is definitely Judaism wants sex to be an extremely intense experience. And again, not just like an act, an experience, like a full
Right.
part of life. And porn kind of drains your sexual energy, I would say. It's kind of like Judaism wants sex to be between two people, exclusive, that energy to be very intense. And when you porn, it drains it in a lot of ways. Like it's like a third party getting your sexual energy and it's not being shared.
And what do you think about polyamor? I don't know.
Polyamorous.
Relationships.
Polyamory.
Yeah. So in Judaism, that's interesting because, there is polygamy in our history.
One of the kings had what, 13 wives?
How do you think? Do you say that in English?
Right? A lot of wives.
Yeah, there was,
polyamorous. You said. How do you say that?
Polyamorous.
Polyamorous. Sorry.
Or like, E&M, ethical non-monogamy. Listen, I'm a very live and let live kind of person.
Yeah.
Do I believe in it? I don't think that ultimately it speaks to our deepest nature and what people truly want, which is deep intimacy and closeness with one person. But that would not be kosher because, like, again, there's no polyandry in Judaism because, back in the day it was a question of like, it was very, sex was about having kids, marriage, a lot of that was very traditional. But polyamory, yeah. So again, it's kind of like the porn thing where sexuality and this part of your life has to be the most intense. And again, I think that when it doesn't have this exclusive one-on-one intensity, it can get diluted a little bit. When there's many partners, you're not giving yourself fully to anyone. You're being, I think within a marriage, let's say, they say there's nowhere to hide. Like it is the most exposure, vulnerable you can possibly be with someone. And I would say that a relationship with many people would dilute that and kind of, there are places to hide behind. It's not like that facing yourself on that deep, intimate level. But also in Judaism, that was never the intention, even though now it's outlawed, but polygamy was allowed. That like our forefathers who were, like King David who had 18 wives, that was never really the intention.
But it was never a woman with like 18 husbands.
Do you know why?
Right.
Lama?
There was... This is how it was explained to me that there was more women than men.
Oh, really?
Okay. And the options for women when they weren't married back in the day is if you weren't married, you became a prostitute or a witch.
Is that by the
Like,
Torah?
your options were
I've never
marriage,
heard that. I'm dead.
prostitution, and witch. And I was like,
You're a
witch
witch.
sounds kind
kind
of slay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of witchy.
But you got killed if you. So like that's like the explanation for why they had so many wives is they were like saving the women from
Yeah, you're
becoming
like wife,
Gotcha.
prostitute, or witch.
Those are your big three
Yeah.
You can't just like exist.
vibe.
All right.
No.
Yeah.
Which is like
You can
and then,
just be single.
right, which is like that's something that I talk about now where I'm like, it's such a privilege to like be able to be a single woman and like
That is so true. Back in the day, yeah, there was
like
no option.
I'm like one of like me and my cousins are like the first in our families to be women that have like lived on our own without partners. Like that's just like not an I could cry talking about it. It's not an experience that like my mom or my grandma got, you know? Like
That's for sure.
So it's just like
that's really interesting, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, there was a lot of wives, but like they brought us here, which is so cool.
That's so true.
They were one of many wives so we could be the empowered women we are today.
Wow, I love. Sometimes
also,
Marielle
like-
pull out things from like the Bible and I'm like, I've never heard that and I love it.
No, but also it was like the problem of you wouldn't know whose kid
Right.
it was.
Right.
There was paternity issues.
Like, another problem.
Another issue of it all. Wow.
Yeah.
And I have to ask if you feel comfortable talking about it because you made the move from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
and like what that was like moving the store, like being in Jerusalem so long, now being in Florentine.
Right. Jerusalem was gorgeous. It was such a beautiful experience. I was there for a while, like almost it was like 6-7 years.
Right.
Almost, but yeah, it was like this whole thing. They asked me to leave.
Who's they? Like
Right.
the
So it
people,
wasn't my
like the
landlord
city?
who was wonderful. So it wasn't the city. It was the owner of the building.
Okay.
And she wasn't religious. She was just a very older conservative woman. And I don't know where she was for all that time because I never saw her. But she showed up one day,
Wow.
saw it, and was like, get her out of here. She didn't want it there. It was like a family space. And then upstairs, it was like a big cafe, like a compound.
Yeah.
And then upstairs. So I think she felt that it was inappropriate, which wasn't surprising to me. But I was like, I've been here all this time.
Right.
And I've had the most beautiful customer base. Haredim, like really ultra orthodox. You can't imagine. But that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, and I was like, okay, I'm out of here. And also, I was living in Tel Aviv, and also, if anyone needs kosher sex, it's Tel Aviv. Like,
I know
they
when
can really use some.
So Kosher Sex.
Yeah. Listen, we live in a world where, it's like you said, it's almost like a beautiful thing that women have these options and you can do whatever you want. We have real freedom.
Right.
And I don't take that for granted. But I do also think that when, let's say, casual sex, hookup culture becomes the culture, it's actually like the word is that's our culture, that's when it
Right.
becomes a problem. And we're seeing that because people are, like I said.
I'd love to know your answer because I feel like it's the question that like all modern women ask is like, when should we be having sex? At what point, like in dating? Like it's like the thing of like
Right.
the third date. Some people say when he's your boyfriend. Like when it comes to
This
like
is
what's
like
your
the age-
answer?
Yeah, the age-old
question.
And do you know what I hate about it? Is that, okay, nothing to do with kosher sex. Let's just say, on the base level of just being like, single woman in a city, in a big city. They're like, all big cities have this hookup culture because it's all young people, young, horny, out of, But,
Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv. But the way that that's what I'm saying. I think that there's been this idea that women are so empowered when it comes to sex. And I really don't buy it. Like, I think that we're still, like, even the question of when should we have sex so that, like, what's the intention? So that, like, if you're looking for something serious, so they'll like you, so that, like, how will men respond to when you decide to sleep with them? So it's still all about them.
I highly agree.
And if they decide how they're going to see you based on when you have sex. So to me, it's actually, I always say that, men always say it's like sex is such a big deal to women. And yes, first of all, that's not an insult. Sex is an intense experience, and to make it nothing is stupid. Mm-hmm. But the way that hold on. What am I saying? The way that it is, no, there's something here. The way that the way that men approach women differently based on when they have sex, who they've had sex with, all these things. Like, men are way more judgmental, I think, when it comes to women having sex, which means that they actually take it way more seriously than women do.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think
Yeah.
it needs to change, like, the thoughts of women around when to have sex. Like, I think each woman should just do whatever she wants, and if someone doesn't like her following it, that's his problem, and it's probably saying that they're not a match. Like, if I want to have sex with someone on the first date, I want to do that, and if it makes him view me on a different way, then I don't want to be with a man that view me
Yes.
on
Yes,
a specific way
for
because
sure.
I've slept with them on a first date. Like, I
And
don't.
also, he's having sex with you on the first date.
True.
Right.
So what's
He's
the
also
difference?
right.
But that's my problem a lot of the time with religion, that it's not equal in terms of, I want to be free when it comes to my sexuality, just as men. Even if we go to the deeper level, they probably nobody is free around it. But I feel like women are being judged way more than a man in talking
sure.
about, especially in religions. But then it's also reflect on society. For example, I wouldn't judge a guy for sleeping with me on the first date, even though he might will.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And then it's also connected to different, for example, what do you think about modesty, which is one of the problems that I find in religion. Like the fact that people tell me to cover my body so other men would have easier life when it doesn't need to look at a woman because she wears shorts.
That's also like a lot of the stuff in Judaism is like dumbed down to like how people are just gonna like people generally we see in the world that like there is a part of human nature that responds to like rules and a lack of freedom.
Right.
So that's how but modesty is not really about just, oh, man's gonna have bad thoughts and you have to cater to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's also that female sexuality is incredibly powerful. Women, the body is extremely beautiful and it is very seductive. But that's, I think, a beautiful thing.
I agree.
I think that's, like it's a powerful thing, and we shouldn't be like ashamed that our sexuality is powerful. But I think the way the world interprets that and the way it's been interpreted in history is that women are only seen for that. So modesty is also in Judaism, is about covering up the parts of us that will, and it's not just like covering up, but it's more that the other parts of you get to be shown and highlighting the other parts, because that is part of the nature that men, like I said, they approach their sexuality differently. And it's actually also so interesting that like when you see like back in the day at concerts of like Elvis, or like the women were going crazy for this man. They were fainting. They were throwing their bras. Like women also go crazy for like the look of a man. It's not just, but I think modesty in Judaism is more also about highlighting the inside so that the outside is not just the pure focus.
But women also go crazy for men, but no one ever required a man, unless if I'm wrong, to cover his whole body.
That's actually not true. In Judaism, there are laws about
they do have to be
sniut
covered.
for men as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Like they
for
have
women,
to wear,
they're more,
like they have to wear right shirts and shorts. Like they can't wear.
Yeah. So men are supposed to also like not show off like so much of their body. It's definitely more talked about for women, a little bit more stringent when it comes to women. But
yeah, there is like also like the way that people talk about it. Like, for example, I was thinking about it, like it's because I was like, oh, it feels really unfair and like for women. But then I was talking to some of my guy friends and I was like, oh, wait, they wear like tzitziot under their shirts in the summer. Like they're wearing like an extra layer under their t-shirt. They wear kippahs, which is like like it really shows that you're Jewish if you're wearing a kippah, which is like a little bit like for a woman, like you can dress modestly and it's not that you're necessarily Jewish. Like for them, so it's still not equal necessarily, but I was like, oh, they do have things that we just like don't talk about it as much. It's like a lot of extreme people are like, women need to cover. And I'm like, well, yeah, men do too.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's also, I think, a lot of outside cultures and religions bled into Judaism. And it's important to, like, but sniut is a big thing in Judaism for sure. But I don't think it's just like cover up so men don't get turned on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really
No,
what it's
I
about.
don't like the idea of, in general, to cover my own body. Like, I feel like most of my beliefs are based on freedom. Like, I want to be free, and I like to wear tank tops and like shorts, and
Girlfriend, I
really,
hear you. That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, all good. I'm not practicing snood by any means, but then it's things that I wondered about, like the way how Judaism perceive that, and that it is an interesting perspective. But I still like I have issues with that.
Yeah.
But I guess every religion comes with the strict things. That's why I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, that's really such a good question, because Judaism is so interesting in the way like it honors sexuality so much, but it also, I think it gives it rules because, like I said, sexuality is the most powerful force in the world. And I think especially female sexuality. So it wants it to be kept in check so that it can reach its full potential. Like, again, when we were talking about when to have sex.
Right.
So it's not, Judaism is, we're not Christians. We're not like, you're, clean virgin and purity culture. But we do like I said, honor sex in that way, that it is such a powerful experience that it doesn't want it to be so undermined and become nothing, which it has today.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a lot of rules around sex to
Right.
make sure that, like, it's, when sex is supposed to be had in marriage, which it is in Judaism, it's not just because, like, it's sinful if you're, like, God knows everyone's having premarital sex. It's, like, not a thing anymore. But it knows that sex reaches its highest potential and is had at its best. Like, it functions its best and is the most pleasurable and the most vulnerable and the most good when it's in this framework of a marriage where people...
Where you like feel safe and comfortable. Like, I
Exactly.
think like that's like the main thing that I talk about with my friends is it's like it starts to feel uncomfortable for a lot of people when they don't feel comfortable. Like when they don't feel comfortable and safe and they're doing something that is like
Yeah.
extremely powerful, holy, like you're really like in tune with yourself. Like it's a very spiritual experience.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you do that with like I always describe it as like it's an energy exchange. So it's like, I'm like, if you don't know their crusty energy, and it has nothing to do with like the woman, then it puts it on both of you. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, if you don't know what crusty energy he's holding, and then you're going to take it on.
Crusty energy
I don't
and sex,
know.
that does not go together. No.
Like
that's
Palo
nasty. No,
Santo
no,
him
no.
before? I don't know.
Force him to hold a crystal.
Yeah.
while you
Yeah,
guys-
hold a rose quartz crystal before.
We have them in dildo form, so.
So funny.
But we actually don't have a lot of time. So how about...
Oh my God, that just flew by.
I know.
July?
I
So we're here
know.
for an hour,
Yapping.
actually.
Oh my God.
But we'll ask you questions and we're going to do not like a yes or no question because I really want to hear like maybe even a sentence about each, like
Yeah.
your opinions. Is
Rapid
really
fire
interesting.
sentence.
Ken,
Okay.
not like a yes or no. Okay, do you think
go.
sexual preference is a choice?
Do I think sexual preference,
Preference.
like
Like-
orientation?
Maybe I didn't say that correct. Like being gay / lesbian /
a
bi.
choice?
Yeah.
You think it's
No.
a choice? Okay.
What? No.
I would say I'm like I don't know if I'd choose
Yeah.
one. I think
Honestly, yeah.
I said I think straight women are the example. We're getting the short end of the
Honestly,
stick.
Is
it's our cross to bear, being hetero.
is the
Nightmare.
myth of an hole in the sheet for
Thank you for asking that. Yeah, it's a myth. It's not just a myth. It is not allowed in Judaism. Again, sex is about intimacy. There's never supposed to be a barrier, and it literally speaks about this. I posted about it. It says, do not be like the Persians. I guess they would have sex with clothes on. So again, like a woman, if you want to wear lingerie, if you want to wear,
Yeah.
get crazy, get nasty. But
Lingerie's kosher.
yes, but Judaism wants skin on skin contact. That is a rumor, and I think it comes from I did a whole thing about it, where it comes from, and of course, anti-Semitism as usual. But I think they like the tzitzit. They say they used to hang them outside, had a big hole, pretty big hole. So I don't know.
Maybe that's where it came
wait, that's
from.
That's what they say.
That's so
And back in the
interesting.
day, they would wash the tzitzit. They would
Leave it
hang
out.
them, and people are like, "What the hell
It's
is
the hole in
that?"
the middle of
Yeah.
the sheet.
Wait, that's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy hole. That's yeah.
Okay. Oh, I love these. Keep going.
So, yes, not true. Total bullshit.
But do they have sex life? Ultra Orthodox people?
Oh
or
my
do they
God,
only
are
have
you
sex
kidding?
other than-
Yes.
I hope so. They're
Are you kidding? They bought everything in the shop. They knew.
But isn't it like really specific? I don't know. Maybe I'm the problem, but it's so hard for me to believe that all the. I grew up around Sfat, as I told you, that all the Orthodox people around there, like it's hard for me to believe that they have like a really spicy sex life, you know? like I wish I'm wrong,
Whips
but
and yes, they do. Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. There's definitely issues in that community for sure.
in every
Very
community.
deep-seated issues that need to be addressed, and that's also partly what I want to do with kosher sex. But every part of society has its issues, and
Right.
but I have seen the most beautiful couples come in together, charedim, laughing, like it's like an intimate experience buying a vibrator
Yeah.
together. No, not true.
so they use sex toys?
Yes, they do.
that's-
Yeah, they sure do. Yes.
That's crazy.
I've
Kosher
had
sex
people
Yeah.
whose rabbis have sent them to me.
Oh, I love that.
Because they've said, like, let's say they're not, when a couple is not having a good sex life, it is suffering. It is true suffering in a marriage. And I really respect for those rabbis who are like, go get a vibrator.
Right.
Go get something
But
to make it better.
it's hard for me to believe that this is the the mainstream of rabbis to say, like, yeah, go to the sex store. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the problem that this is how it's been shown to us. For example, even in Unorthodox, the Netflix show.
Right.
Oh my, that's why. Don't
Exactly.
I didn't even watch that. I will not watch it. Sorry, like, okay, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, and I've heard some very traumatic stories that are terrible, and that's not Judaism. But the way they depicted, like, I didn't watch it, but that, like, every sex is rape and is like rapey, and the woman is, I'm sure that does happen, and I've heard about that, but I don't think that that's the norm. I've had beautiful experiences with Haredi.
So it really isn't what people talking about, because there's even this one influencer, her name is Sarah Dayan, and I highly recommend to follow. She used to be super Orthodox, and she got married when she was really, really young. And today she's like a super spiritual but secular, but now she's going back into her roots and like finding beauty in Judaism and stuff. But she always say that, like, her experience was she got married when she was so young, and then her first time having sex was so traumatizing, and they couldn't have sex for so long, and then she became secular, and then she became the complete opposite. Like, she moved to Tel Aviv and she started to, like, have sex with different people, and now she's in a healthy relationship. At least, that's what you say. But I feel like the people who share any experiences from the ultra-Orthodox bedroom, it's mostly negative experiences. Now,
yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's shaped this way.
But also, like, I don't know that you're going to get a lot of Haredi people talking about, if they're still Haredi, talking about how good their sex life is.
Right.
So that's why we don't hear from them.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I don't deny that. And God forbid I would never undermine someone's experience, because that is, like I said, sex can be the most traumatic.
Right.
But again, in that community, they're thrown into it. And that's why I think this work is so important, because when you're thrown into it, like, it doesn't have to be suffering.
Right.
There are things that can help.
Okay.
Like, everyone's like, why do you need a sex toy if you're having a good sex life? Even if you're having a good sex life, there's purposes that it serves to make it more exciting after 20 years.
Yeah.
But
Right. Almost like, don't wait for it to get there kind of thing.
yeah, sex life needs investment. People just have sex and they just think that it's going to come naturally. You do it when you feel like it, and then there's a slow breakdown, which is why we have a above 50% divorce rate.
Wow. Yeah.
So, or why no one's having sex. Even married people are having more sex than single people today, which is wild, because we love to joke about how,
right, marriage is the end all be all.
The end.
And
It's like a death sentence to sex.
wow, man.
I have a final question.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of, like, different girls that talk about sex, like sex influencers. But in Hebrew, we would say manchot leminiyut. I don't know how to say that in English, but, like, girls who lead workshops around it and this and that. And they talk a lot about how often they've been sexualized or getting different comments or my God, I wish I knew how to speak.
No, go.
But, like, being disturbed, is that a word, by men, like that find the fact that they work in the sex
industry.
Like, I don't know if you call it. Because my question for you is that if you get that a lot, and if many men see the fact that you own a sex store as an invitation to be sexual with you, even though
yes, short answer, yes. Very much, which really pisses me off. Sometimes on occasion, I won't say what I do, just because I just don't want to deal with with what comes along with it. Because again, sex, there's like so many, sex is just like.
Right, there's like connotations around it.
Exactly.
And
but then here, when I throw in the Judaism thing, then they're like,
wait.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit. But yes, it is not an easy. That's why I don't get very personal. I'm just like actually a much more private person in general, but it can be, I try to keep it very like, obviously professional, but extra, because it's the kind of thing that makes people, it goes both ways, also in a beautiful way, that it lets people's guard down, so they feel really safe to talk to me about things that they don't. People tell me all their secrets.
I saw her story. I walked in and I was like, oh, and suddenly I'm telling you everything about me.
And suddenly she's on our pod.
And now I literally was like just pouring out my heart. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think she wants to hear any of this.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And I was like, this is so, but it's true. Like the environment that you create it's very like welcoming and accepting. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. What is this? And the first thing I said, where everyone should come after leaving Jerusalem, Florentine. That Florentine needs kosher sex.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, it's definitely, a lot of men think it's that you're like that they're, that if a woman works in sex, like the night they meet them, they're going to be like tying them up.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
You're like my rose quartz dildo.
We really do need to finish the episode.
I think
oh my gosh, I can keep going.
I could talk about this stuff
But
forever.
it's
I'm
so
telling
good.
you.
Yeah, I can talk to you for hours, but wow, thank you so much for being
you
here.
guys.
I feel like what you do is super important, and I love that we bring things that are taboo into discussion. And I just love
really
hearing
was
that you do that.
unfiltered.
I'm so glad.
No, but you guys, this is like, a lot of people don't want to talk about this stuff. So I really appreciate, especially women who get this and who want to spread the good word.
Yeah.
Because like I said, men have had the reins on sex for a long time, and look where we are. So
We're taking them
yeah,
back.
we're taking the lead. It's time.
Wow. Thank you.
guys.
And thank you
Thank
guys
you
for
so
listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.